General contractors grow too slow. And in this video, I'm gonna give you the 7 absolute best tips to grow and scale your general contractor business fast. If you're watching this, you're probably feeling that you're growing too slowly. You know how to build, you have the crews, you have the team, but maybe you're stuck. Maybe you can't grow as fast as you want to. Maybe you feel like, how can I grow? There's not enough time in the day. I'm just so freaking busy. And today, we're gonna fix that. My name is Quindemil, founder of Builders, and over the last 12 years, I've worked with over 4,000 general contractors and subcontractors nationwide, so I know what works. And today, I'm gonna give you the 7 best tips to grow your GC business. Spoiler alert, the last one is the most powerful one. Ready and go. Number 1, get more leads using a leads system. The truth is, at the end of the day, you need more leads. One of the biggest fails that I see all the time from contractors is that they're only getting a few leads per month. Or worse, I know guys that are running their entire business 100% word of mouth. See, here's the thing, word of mouth is good. It'll give you the highest close rate, but the problem is you can't scale it. You don't control it. We're literally waiting for someone to hopefully recommend us. Over the last 12 years, what I've seen with general contractors is the most successful GCs are the guys that have options. Imagine if you had a bunch of leads coming in, a bunch of projects, a bunch of invitations to bid, and you were literally able to cherry pick it. I like this one, I like this one, I like this one. What I'm talking about is using a lead system. So the absolute best way to get commercial construction leads is gonna be by using a lead platform like Dodge. So this is Dodge. Dodge is a data company where they actually research projects going on in your area. So I like Dodge, which is why I'm showing it to you. But there's other ones like there's the Blue Book, there's ConstructConnect. They pretty much all, to be honest, they do the same thing. I like Dodge mostly because of the filtering, and they have probably the most data, I think. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it's easy to use and it works. Dodge is gonna give you a list. I can look up here, like I wanna look up projects, let's see, location. So I wanna look up like Florida. Let's actually look up like Miami. If I wanted to do like Miami, let's see, let's put Broward, let's put Dade. This is my area. Boom. So now I can come and I can filter action stage, the bidding stages, which is what we care about. Now, one of the strategies that you'll learn in a second is you can actually hit up the people that are in the earlier design stages. So like the architects that are drawing the plan still, you can reach out to them earlier on. So like we can specify the project type, the valuations. Like if you're a smaller contractor, you want to stick with, obviously if you're a GC, nobody's going to hire you. If you're a GC and you've never worked with somebody, it's going to be hard to get like multiple millions of dollar projects. So let's be realistic. You want to stick in the lower end of the spectrum here. Construction type, we can do like additions, alterations, interiors, new construction. If you do public, you could put like the public and the federal ones, but I tend to like the private ones. So like, for example, in the last 90 days, 718 jobs, probably 80% of them have not been awarded yet. Maybe it's worth calling them. Bidding in the next 5 days, bidding in the next month. So here's the thing, there's a bunch of jobs. By the way, I put only 2 counties. And I put a bunch of filters here. So what you're gonna find is that if we mess with the filters, you're gonna get more potential projects. But what I really love is this number right over here, because at the end of the day, there's a sales cycle in commercial construction, and 9 times out of 10, 90 days is not enough for a job to get awarded. So if we start hitting up all those people that bid last month or 2 months ago, likely they haven't awarded the contract yet. They're still getting permits. They're still talking to the plan review, things like that. So one of the methods that I teach is how to get involved in a project earlier on. So literally you can talk to architects while they're still in the design stages, the planning stages, while it's still going through the plan review. They still don't have a GC yet. So you can get involved early on and you can literally steal the job with no competitors. I actually teach this method inside of my Construction Sales Academy. So if you're interested in learning how to steal jobs from your competitors before there's even competitors, I'm gonna put a link right over here, and I'm gonna put a link in the description where you can join the Construction Sales Academy. All right, so number 1 was about using a lead system to find leads directly, to find projects. Number 2 is what I call targeted prospecting, which is where we're literally focusing on the client, not the project. So in the long run, what we want to do as GCs is we want to build repeat business. We don't want to just focus on one and done jobs. That's not going to help us. We need to put into action the power of commercial construction is in the ability to get repeat clients, right? We want to work with architects consistently. We want to work with developers consistently. If you're doing like homeowner work and stuff like that, like you're probably going to do like one and dones, right? You're not going to get more jobs behind it usually. But when you work with architects, when you work developers, you will. So this method is what I call targeted prospecting, or with the construction lead systems, we are leading like a sniper, right? We're targeting the project. But with this method, what we're doing is we're looking to scale by talking to a wider number of of clients because we want to activate that repeat business. Our goal is to get our foot in the door, start talking to them so that we can get on their vendor list, on their master bid list, so that we can get invited to bid in the future for future jobs. All right, simple. We're going to go to Google, we're going to make a list, and we're going to start visiting unannounced. Yeah, I know you got to be a rocket scientist to do that. Trust me, do not call and try to set up a meeting. If you call, they're always going to be busy. So literally show up, dress to impress, wear a long sleeve shirt if possible with a logo. So if you have a embroidered logo, that's even better. That looks more professional. With your slacks, please no drywall dust. Remember, you're talking to architects, you're talking to interior designers, you're gonna be talking to developers. These guys tend to be a little stuck up. So you're gonna walk in and you're gonna usually be greeted by a secretary of some sort, and you're gonna ask to speak to the person in charge of procurement or the person that's in charge of the construction division. So usually at every architecture firm, there's somebody that's in charge of contract administration or someone that functions as the owner's rep. So basically sometimes the owners will hire the architect to kind of oversee the construction, and that's the person we got to talk to. If you're talking to a developer, these are the guys that are building either houses, they're building strip malls. These are the guys that are building multifamily buildings. These are the guys you got to talk to. If you're talking to a developer, they themselves might be the GC, just so you know. They might be an owner builder, or they may have someone, or they likely have someone in their office that's in charge of the construction. By the way, if your developer is a GC, don't be afraid to make a package deal as a subcontractor. I actually teach my GCs how to diversify their business. So they're doing their GC work, but they're also doing sub work, but as a package deal only. By the way, I'm gonna talk more about that on number 4. All right, so we've become a leads expert. We're getting leads through the lead platforms. We're getting leads talking to architects and developers. Number 3, never stop bidding. One of the things I see all the time is when you're not busy, you're bidding a lot of jobs, but then you start landing them. And when you land them, you're so busy in the field, managing your operations, that you just stop bidding. So at the end of the project, you start scrambling because you're about to run out of work because you don't have anything else lined up, and it's kind of like starting all over again from the beginning. So you're never able to scale because you're basically starting from zero over and over and over, and you can't grow. So what's the solution? The solution is never stop bidding. But how do we do that? So there's a few options that I'm going to give you. The first option is we can hire an estimator. That's typically an $80,000 to $100,000 a year salary. You're also looking at payroll taxes, workers' comp, vacation days. If you don't have an office, you have to rent an office, computers, you have to get estimating software subscriptions, you have to train them, you have to manage them. Trust me, hiring an employee isn't a walk in the park. I've done it. All right, so if not an employee, what about a freelancer? What about a part-time guy? If you hire a part-time guy, you're gonna get part-time results. At the end of the day, a lot of the clients I work with, they've tried getting a guy that works for another company to estimate for them at night. They've gotten like an overseas freelancer. They've done it all. But at the end of the day, that doesn't work because we need to invest in our business. And the third way is actually a new way where you're going to use a professional estimating firm. So like, for example, my company, I Am Builders, we've been estimating projects for GCs, subs, and architects and developers since 2016. I think by now we've worked with over 4,000 clients nationwide since we started. So because I know estimating is such a big sticking point, it's such a challenge for most contractors, we now have our unlimited estimating subscription that replaces the need for a team. It's a new way to scale your business because we get to continue to estimate for you all of your labor, material, supervision, equipment, all of your profit, everything all in, so that you don't have to worry about that. You can focus on running your business. So if you want to learn more on how we can help you scale your business with our unlimited estimating model, click this link over here. You can schedule a meeting with me, or I'm going to put it in the description below, and let's see if we can help you scale your business. So we got the leads down, we have the estimating down, and now number 4, I want to teach you one of the most powerful things I've ever been able to teach contractors on how to scale their business. It's literally going to triple your contract amounts by bidding package deals. Whenever I work with a GC, I almost always recommend the super sub method. For example, last year, one of my GC clients named Richard, he was struggling to grow his business. He didn't have all the contacts he needed to grow his GC business. So I suggested, hey, you already have the team. Why don't we go bid projects as a subcontractor, but doing package deals only? So at first he was a little reluctant because he's a GC, but he did come over. We did start doing package deals. So we went off, we found them some projects. We started estimating as a subcontractor only, but package deals only. No individual trades. So for him specifically, we focused on interior packages, specifically retail, restaurants, and office remodels. And the reason we picked those types of jobs, we picked them strategically because those are the jobs that close the fastest. And in the first 3 months of working with us, he closed $730,000 at a 30% profit margin. Imagine that. So I have another client from LA. He joined my membership. He's a GC. He has probably 20 years experience doing high rises, but he joins my membership because he just started his business. And to be honest, he didn't know how to grow the business. He knew how to build the projects and oversee them. But when you start a business, now you got to get leads, you have to estimate, you have to manage the company. There's a bunch of stuff that you don't know how to do. I suggested to him, hey, while you're getting your GC thing going, why don't we do package deals as a sub? And at first he was like, no, Daniel, I'm a GC, blah, 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 blah. So a few months pass, and in one of our coaching calls, he jumps in and he says, man, I tried it my way, but it didn't work. Now I'm finally ready to listen. So fast forward about a year and look what happened. So this is a post that he put inside of our community. Officially hit over 1 million today since April. Not gonna lie, I got a little emotional. Crazy, right? In a year's period, he did $1 million when he did the super sub method. So why does it work? You're focusing on 3 to 5 trades that are your best trades that we can easily scale. We're only doing packages, so you're not competing apples to apples with other subs. That in itself is a race to the bottom. We're offering more value because you're a GC, you have the team, you have the experience, you already know how to manage multiple trades. You're just gonna do it on a subcontractor capacity. And when you do this, your average contract value is gonna be about $200,000 per project when you start combining 3 to 5 trades, and you're gonna be at around a 30% profit margin. So that's about, on average, $60,000 per job. And the best part is your ability to scale. Because we're doing the same trades, we can cookie cutter the process. You can have 3 jobs running at the same time without you always needing to be there. So imagine in 3 months, let's say you do a few tenant build outs and you do 3 jobs at the same time, package deals, $200,000 each. You're looking at a profit margin of $180,000 in 3 months. You can take the rest of the year off. Now, this is the part that I stop real quick and tell you that if you want to keep getting notified of these videos, click like and subscribe so you can get the little pop-up notification every time I release a video. All right, you are now a leads expert, you're an estimating expert, you're a super sub expert. Now, I'm gonna teach you a ninja trick that almost nobody knows about. Get the contracts before there's even a design. Huh? How can I get a contract? There's no plans, there's nothing to estimate. Let's talk about that. So one of the most powerful things as a GC that you can do is deal directly with the people that are working with your clients in the beginning of the whole process. I want you to think about it. If somebody's buying a property, or they're buying a land, or they're leasing a space, what's the first thing they're gonna do? They're gonna do a remodel, a renovation, they're gonna paint, they're gonna do the carpets, right? They're gonna do something, right? Or they're gonna buy the property to do a major renovation or a new construction if it's just the land. 9 times out of 10, who are they dealing with? A realtor, right? Commercial or residential, it doesn't matter. They're dealing with somebody that's showing them properties. And what does that realtor need to close the deal? They need to know what the total costs are, right? For the client. The client's gonna come and say, hey, I'm gonna do a remodel. I need to know what that cost might be because I need to factor that into my decision, right? You buy a house, you buy a property, if it's $1.5 million, and you need to get a bank loan and you need to see what the repairs are going to be, or you need to fix something, you need to understand what that cost may be before you say yes. So realtors know this, and they all build a team. They have their attorneys, they have their construction expert, they have their title companies, right? They all build their teams. You want to be part of that team. When the question does come up, hey, what's the cost? If you have a good relationship with your realtor, they're going to introduce you. Hey, this is Daniel, this is John, this is Michael. Hey, come, let's have a meeting. Let's talk about the project. You might even go to the job site, walk the job. There's no plans, so this is very budgetary, but you can sit with the client and start like sketching out the design, kind of like just a rough draft, right? Just to see what the cost might be. And believe it or not, at that point, you can prepare a rough budget, a rough order of magnitude budget for those projects. How do I know that? Because I do that all the time. So like when I work with architects, I work with realtors sometimes, I work with all these people in the front end, they're always reaching out to us saying, hey, can you budget this for me? And we do. Now, here's the cool part. Did you know that you could subcontract your architect? So my recommendation is you come in early on and then you can grab a design build contract out of this whole thing. You can help them coordinate the design with an architecture firm. You can do the construction for them, right? You could do the whole process for them. So you could steal the job before it even has a chance to go out to bid. The way you do it is you go visit realtors and make those connections up front. You might even want to offer them a commission or some sort of like finder's fee. Remember, those guys are used to working on commission. All right, number 6, win the jobs first and then build your team. So one of the issues that I see a lot with GCs is they're not real estimators, they're proposal getters, right? You're dependent on your subs to give you pricing. You don't know if it's good, You don't know if the numbers are right. You don't know if the quantities are right. The subs take forever. Those guys are busy. They only want to work with you if you have the job. Ding, 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 ding. That's what we want to do. Let's go back to the basics. Let's be real construction professionals. Let's estimate our own jobs. Let's win the jobs. And then we go build our team. I've been doing that for 12 years. It works. It's perfect. It's going to get you estimating faster. With us, for example, if we were to do your estimating, you might not do that because you're really busy. But let's say you had an estimator or you had somebody backing you up with your estimating. You crank out all those bids. And what happens is you're not waiting for the subs. Right? I've done the RFPs a bunch of times and it's like pulling teeth, begging these guys for proposals. So skip that whole process. Bid the job. It takes you a few hours, boom, on to the next one. In a day, you could probably bid 2 jobs. At a minimum, in a week, you could bid a few versus probably in a month, you might be bidding 2. Oh no, but how do I know the numbers are going to be accurate? Believe it or not all, but most of construction is relatively standard. If you go buy drywall, the price is about the same. The labor is about the same because if you're paying your guys $30 and another guy's paying them $40, guess what? This guy is gonna go to this company. So there is, even in the labor side of things, there is a supply and demand type of thing. So at the end of the day, our labor pricing and our material pricing is pretty much gonna be close. What's gonna change is the overhead and profit and the supervision. That's usually what I see why people lose jobs, because at the end of the day, you're not going to save so much money going with another drywall supplier or going with another concrete company. The price is the price. Once in a while, you do have like a custom something, maybe like windows are pretty custom, maybe cabinets. Yeah, you can get those bids, but 80% of projects you could do yourself. So you bid the job, you would negotiate it, you close it, you win it, and guess what? When you go to your sub and you say, hey, I won this job, give me your best price, they give you the number, and you come back and say, hey, look, my budget is this. If you can meet this budget, the job is yours. It's really hard for them to say no because it's like you have cash in your hand, right? You have a contract in your hand with their name and all the data, all the numbers filled in. All they have to do is say yes. It's really hard. So win the jobs, build your team after. Number 7, this one is the absolute most powerful method that I can show you for you to scale your business. Drum roll, please. Bid more jobs. No, but I say it seriously. We all talk about bidding more jobs, but the concept is obvious, right? We have to bid more jobs to win, but the execution is really hard. Unfortunately, we are in an industry that a proposal takes hours and days sometimes to prepare. When you go sell computers or you go sell boats or whatever, like even in the commercial capacity, all you have to do is write a proposal and send it to the client, right? Like, this is the price of this and this and this, boom, quick. In 20 minutes or 10 minutes, you have a proposal ready, right? But in construction, we have to estimate the whole project, make sure that we don't make any mistakes, and then we have to write the proposal and send it to the client, right? It's a lot longer to write the proposal. So the execution of the estimating is very difficult. I've given you all the tools of the leads and the estimating, so I don't have to repeat it again, but there is a linear correlation between the number of jobs you bid and the number of jobs you're going to win. If you bid 30 jobs this year, you're going to close 3 to 5 jobs. If you bid 120 jobs this year, you're going to close 12 to 20 jobs. Those are the numbers. And of course, we can always improve our chances of winning jobs by having better sales, by negotiating better, by filtering and selecting the right clients. But at the end of the day, if all you did was bid more jobs, you're going to close more. Guaranteed. Now, let me ask you this. You want to scale your GC business, right? Do you want the roadmap, literally the steps to scale your business to the next million, 5 million, 10 million? So for the last 12 years, I've worked with a lot of companies and I've seen great contractors that are great builders struggle to grow their business. So because of that, I created a roadmap to scale any commercial construction business into that $5 or $10 million mark. And I want to show that to you. So inside of my Construction Sales Academy, the mission is to take your business to $1 million, then 5 million, then $10 million a year. And I actually have people in there doing that right now. I have members that started as a small operation and they've scaled up into the multiple millions. So I know you can do it too. And that is the power of commercial construction. And you're not going to get that in residential. Try their Construction Sales Academy. It's free to join right now. I'm going to put a link right here and in the description below. And I want to see you on our next coaching call. Now, since we're talking about scaling, in the next video, I want to show you how to build your team. There's a specific order and specific people that we need to eventually hire to build your team to scale. And I put that in this video. Be a construction entrepreneur, not a contractor. Spoiler alert, you're going to have to hang up the tool belt if you want to become a real business owner. Watch that video now and check out our Construction Sales Academy. Let's go.